Okay, everybody. I'm going to try and make a second video. This is a 3D printed blank that is the thick version of the Wanda, so it's a little bit thicker all around than the traditional. And I'm going to do a nail foil. So I've had this question a couple of times when I've done the nail foil, how I do it. So I have the nail foil here, and we're gonna do a nail foil one. So this one is this iridescent snake print, and I'm pretty excited. Oh, it got sticky. See, it's already pulling up on its own, so we'll have to make sure to use a good part. Maybe I won't be doing this one if the whole thing looks like this. Let's see. Wow, the whole thing. I can try and do this side. This one is intact, and see what happens. I've never had that happen with my other foils. Interesting. Okay, so a new experience. So I have already prepped this. I've sanded the edges on this blank, and you noticed I just put in this knitting needle. So what I do is I put the knitting needle in there so it gives this slight curve as I am doing the blank. And I find that this helps when I put the UV gel on, and helps keep the shape afterwards once I've finished everything. So I'm gonna put that on my little stand, and then I have my UV gel resin. I just want to go to cover the top part. Let's see. Yeah, so we're just gonna do from right there up. So I found the key is to be generous, but you don't want to be too generous. If you're too generous with the UV gel, then what ends up happening is you get a lot of edges that are really rough that you have to sand off. So now I'm just making sure it's completely covered, all of the little areas, because if there's no gel, then it's not going to adhere, the nail foil. I mean, we might have a problem anyway because of how the nail foil stuck together. My other nail foils have not done that in the past, so this is new, and I'm not sure if it's how I stored it or if that one was just that way. I'm gonna have to check all my other ones because I have 30 nail foil types because I buy them in packs of 10, and I have 3 sets. So maybe this was a little generous, but I see there's some areas, that corner there, I really need to make sure that every little edge is completely covered. The light is a very good way of making sure, because you can really see the little matte edges if it's not completely there. Okay, that looks really good. This was just a clear UV nail polish, and now it's mostly the UV resin that I buy. I'm pretty sure UV resin and UV nail polish are the same thing, but I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that. I am not a chemist, though I do teach science. So I'm just going to, oh, I see there's a little bit faded there. So I'm just gonna move it over just a little bit. This might be shot anyway. I might have to buy a different one if I want to do this holographic snake skin. So what I want is I want it to be gently pressed all the way around, but I'm not trying to press out all of the gel. I don't want the gel to leak out too much on the edges, because then I'm going to have a problem that I have to file. And that is not what we want to have to do. And I also don't want it sliding around because it'll take the gel with it. So we'll see if this will work after the issues with the foil. Maybe I'll be making a different nail foil video. We're just gonna slide that under the UV light. So that's what it looks like. And I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes after I do both sides several times, because I want to make sure that UV is on there. So it's going to be several times both sides, and then I will see you back for pulling it off. Okay, so we have done a couple of rounds of the UV light, and now we're just going to firmly and slowly peel the nail foil, and we'll see if this will work even though it had those issues. And the answer is yes! That is pretty good. Very clean. Okay, there was a little bit too much extra on the edges at the top, so this is gonna have to be filed, but not bad at all, because this is very thin gel, so it'll be quite quick to do that. In fact, you could even use the X-Acto knife to go around it. Now, I wanted to do a full one with the bottom layer, so we're gonna do that part now, and then I'll do the filing. So you don't have to have one of these things here. It just makes it a little easier because you don't have to pick up the edges as much. And we're just gonna do the exact same thing. Actually, let me make sure I have a piece like lined up. So we're not gonna use this, well, we could use this piece if we cut it into pieces, which is possible. But honestly, I'm so concerned about how this was acting. It's almost, yeah, I don't know, let's see. That's enough for another one, too. All right. I have some friends that would probably like it. Let's see if we can get some pieces together that we can do with this. So one there, and one there, and then we'll cut off these edges and see about that. So it'll be easier if we can do this, if we cut it into little pieces that we can lay places. So I bought this, so if you've watched my other video, you know that I actually live in China, and I bought this off of the Chinese equivalent of Amazon, which is called Taobao, and it's in Chinese, and I paid Chinese money for it, so I can't easily like link to the items, but this is, oh, here it is. Here's my case right here. This is the case I bought of like the nail prints. And this one is obviously animal, but I've done also like these paisley ones and things. All right, so we're just gonna do the exact same procedure, a delicate layer. We're gonna try and be just a little less generous this time, because that was just a little too generous. And we'll use our old brush. Hopefully the snake pattern will look good in pieces. I've done piece-wise with the other patterns before, and it came out okay. I've posted them before on the pair eyewear toppers and stuff like that, and everybody seems to have liked them, and my friends don't seem to notice any significant differences, so hopefully it'll be the same for this snake print. I think the main part is the top part, because that seems to be where people's eyes are drawn, and it's all continuous looking there, and then it's much thinner here. So I think people don't think it looks as bad. Okay, so this is definitely the correct side for transferring. Okay. Make sure I get, ooh, spun that right around. I didn't think about that. There's a piece of clear there. That's bad. We want all solid. Let's see what happens there. And then this one is gonna be more delicate. Let me. Now that I'm concerned about that clear piece, let me just slice that off so I don't have to deal with that. I'm gonna try and line things up. There's a sticky piece here. There we go. So that it's all going in the same direction. So it'll look more like the snakeskin, even if it is a hologram. I don't know if that's all gonna fit. Let's cut a second piece of this so we're ready if we need a second piece. That whininess, if you heard that, was my cat Tabasco. She's spicy. I'm not sure what she's agitated about. She's looking at the window, so it could be anything. They've had workers refinishing the outsides of the building, and they've finished with our building, but maybe they're doing something on the building next door. But she was grumping at something out there. It's hard to tell because she grumps at everybody. She's yeah, just like that. She's grumping at me for no reason at all. She's not even next to me. She's at the window, just being a grumpy puss. We're just gonna do the UV on that. So I just have it here in the UV, and I'm gonna do both sides again, and we'll come back and see how the transfer did. There is Miss Tabasco being a spicy little meatball. Isn't that right, Miss Tabasco? Well, of course, now she's like, now I'm gonna look out the window. Tabasco. See, who knows? You never know what's gonna make her agitated. You can tell she is because her tail's going, but she'll grump at me for, you know, sometimes she lays on my chest and then she grumps at me for breathing. All right, so moment of truth. How did this come out? That looks good. Up, we missed a little piece right there. Right there is a problem. Let's see, where else? Any other issues? Good. Oh, remarkably good. Yes, that looks very nice. So even though we missed this little piece here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some cleanup. We have this here, and I wanna do some edges. If there's any other pieces that come off or don't look right, we'll put that down when we do this. So now we're gonna go into time lapse so you don't have to pay attention to me filing for 20 minutes. Okay, so we've cleaned up the edges here, and there's a couple of spots. This one is very, very small. To me, it's unnoticeable unless you're really examining it, because I did black and as the base, but I really think this one here is very noticeable, and I don't really like this top one here. It goes in just a little bit too much. There's also a small place very here on the edge. That one isn't as bad. These two are the worst offenders in my opinion. So I have a few pieces that I have left, and we're just gonna do some touch-up. So for touch-up, I really just want the snake print exactly where I want it, so I'm not gonna use my nozzle. I'm just gonna put a very little bit of amount, and I kind of view it like if I can't get it on this time, then it's just not gonna happen, and I have to accept that this one is flawed, because it's just, you know, some of these areas, if you just keep going over it, it's just gonna be worse and worse and worse. So I'd rather be like, okay, this is it, this is the last chance, and whatever happens with this, that's the end, and then we're gonna put the final coat on to protect everything. And because we're dealing with such small, tiny little pieces, I really need my tweezers to help make sure I line everything up delicately. Okay. And I think I'm going to use this piece down here. All right, we're going to toss it back in underneath our light. Okay, so that went really well. There's still a little bit here, probably because there was a layer and it just couldn't get in good contact, but it looks a lot better to my eye. And now what we're gonna do is a coating layer at the end. And I still have my knitting needle here to kind of give it that curve. This is really important when we're doing these thicker layers of resin, because I find that really helps it keep its shape later. It's not everything, but it does help. And certainly when you try to rebend it. Now I know some people put them in hot water to do that, and I have not done that yet, but I bet it does work. But I just like to try and have it pre-bent if I can. So these are really gonna be some flashy toppers. I'm pretty excited. This holographic snake print is just, I don't know, it's very sexy. There's something very sleek about it. Just want to make sure you get it all the way over to the edges. I don't like having the rough edges with the clear gel on there. You know, that's where it should be real smooth and almost maybe like bubbled up a little bit. It is a little bit harder to tell with this holographic snake print than it is on when it's on the plain black, but that looks pretty good. We're gonna put that under, and we're just gonna keep doing, you know, we'll UV, then we're gonna do a coat here in UV, then we'll slide this up and we'll do a coat in UV, and then we'll put it back under for about 3 times. So we're just gonna keep up that process, and I'll switch over to time lapse. Okay, so I accidentally forgot to hit record. I'm sorry about that. So what I did is I had just put in my magnets in the holes, and I used UV gel. And what I do is I put another topper and I hold it over the magnet holes, so then when I drop the magnets in, it'll go in the correct side to match up. And I'm just gonna finish them. They're gonna be done. That's it. Those are some good looking toppers. Let's just double check that it fits on the glasses so you know what I'm talking about. So I was wearing these because these are the glasses that I wear, and there we go. That is one good looking holographic snakeskin nail foil topper.